Hello, today I would like to proceed with Barron's essential words for the IELTS, and this is Unit 4, Text 1. So on the left-hand side we have a text, and the one on the right-hand side we have questions related to this text. So a text called Origins of Writing. On the right-hand side we have questions from 1 to 7. Please be careful and read the task and try to understand what exactly they ask you to do. So let's read the task. Do the following describe the ancient Sumerians, the ancient Chinese, or the ancient Maya? Write the correct letter A, B, or C. A is ancient Sumerians, B ancient Chinese, and C ancient Maya. So let's read the first question. Inscribe symbols on bones. So one of these civilizations were just inscribing symbols on bones. You don't have that much time to read the text, and you have to scan it quickly and just try to understand what exactly what kind of word you have to find, and try to reply to the question or to find the text. So let's highlight the words which we need to find in the text. It's about the symbols which is related to the bones. So our keyword here is bones. On the left hand side we have a text, and we will try to find any information related to the bones. So basically they could use synonyms, usually they do, or some words or some phrases which are related to the keyword. So in case of bones, actually we don't have such kind of synonyms. We can find that exactly in the text, and here when we scan it, we see here the text which says it is called oracle bone script because it was cat or animal bones and the shells that were used for predicting the future. And as they were saying about bone script here, so let's highlight this word bone script in your text, and it is who used a bone script. It was Chinese. Let's highlight this answer. So your answer to your question is gonna be Chinese, which is B. Sorry. Can put it here. So go further to the second question. Describe symbols on religious structures. Usually they put step by step and answers to your questions, and you can further scan, but it doesn't work always. But let's see if it works here or not, because we can find answer to the following question below of the answer to the previous question. So symbols on religion structures. Anything about the, let's highlight the word which we need. Symbols on religious structures. Let's highlight what religious structures. They can anyways use any other synonyms to this, because it could be anything like a temple or church or anything related to the religious structures. So let's go further, and we are trying to find any information about religious structures. So here we have a exact word, but in IELTS it doesn't happen usually that you have exact word. It can't be. It's really tricky, but this is just a task and this is just exercise. Let's exercise, focus on it, and further I'll find any other more complicated texts for practicing. So here let's read the sentence. So in the Mesoamerica region that encompasses part of Mexico and Central America, it is ancient Mayans who are famous for the writing this scribe on temple walls and other religious structures. So temple walls also it's also a religious structure. So who was doing that? It was ancient Maya, which is C. Let's go further. Inscribe symbols on clay tablets. We can go further if just to see if we have this any information about the clays. In case of clay, we don't have any synonyms for sure, and we have to try to find the exact word here. But when we define two answers, when we go further, we don't see any information about clays, which is which is something which usually happens. But don't worry, let's try to find information about clays here in the text, and just quickly scan it. So we have to find any information about clays. So here there was about clay tokens, but we need some clay tablets. So basically, who is working with this clay? It was Sumerians. Originally, clay tokens, various shapes were used by them. Clay tablets, here we also see the word here, tablets. From this a system of impressing the shapes onto clay tablets. And who was doing it? So we go further to find any information about the civilization, and we see it was Sumerians. So let's put here it's gonna be A. So let's go further. Use tokens to keep records of their property. Speaking about the tokens, we've seen some information about tokens here, and let's highlight first of all keywords which we have to find in the text, and we need some information about tokens which they've used one of the civilizations. They were saying about tokens here. Scribes then began using reeds instead of tokens to mark the clay developed in a system of wedge-like shapes to represent tokens. And okay, this is Sumerian culture. So what I'm saying is about Sumerian culture. This is Sumerian culture. Answer is A. Let's go further. Used writing to record the deeds of their rulers. So any information, you have to highlight the keywords. So we need record deed of their rulers. Deeds of their rulers. Let's try to find any information about it here. We didn't see the information here for sure about the Sumerians. And let's go further. It's a Chinese, and further is Mayas here. Another paragraph, and here in the Maya and the Zaptec. Okay, we go further and we see some information about deeds of the rulers, and here they're saying just say. They don't say who it was they. And here further we can go further to the sentence above of this. When they say recent discovery shows that the Mayas have begun writing around 2,300 years ago about the Mayas, and they will say use a system of symbols and information about the dates of their rules. It was Mayas. So answer to this question is gonna be C. Let's put here. Developed a writing system that was adopted by the Japanese. So keyword here is Japanese. As soon as we find this word in the text, it's gonna be answer. And let's try to find any information about Japanese. Here I see something about Japanese and the Korean, and who was. Okay, this Chinese writing system was also the original basis for both the Japanese and the Korean writing system. So the answer is gonna be Chinese, and answer is gonna be B. Let's go further. Settled in Mesopotamia. So our keyword is Mesopotamia. Let's try to find exact this word here in the text. So let's scan the text. Okay, we see Egypt, Maya. I just try to find some these keywords, so not to focus any other words. So here there is a word Mesopotamia, and it was just counting all different parts of the world, like Mesopotamia, China, Mesoamerica, but it doesn't give any information who lived there. So further we go, Sumerians in Mesopotamia around 3,000 years ago. So Mesopotamia is Sumerians who just came there and lived there. It's gonna be A. Put here, and so we finished. So further we have questions. These tasks are really tricky. You have to read very carefully. Do the following statement agree with the information in the reading passage? Write true, false, or not given. So the ancient Maya attributes the origins of writing to the gods. Okay, so it's about Maya, and the origins of writing, they just attributed to gods. Let's highlight these keywords. So we know from the text, so you scanned for a couple of minutes this text, right? You know in which paragraph you have any information related to any kind of civilization. Here we have Sumerians, here we have Chinese, here we have Maya. Don't scan whole text. You already know it, you've seen it. Just trust to you yourself and just go further, and you have Maya here. And find your keywords, that there is information there, and we read that before. And so here they were saying that ancient Maya, they were just described the temple walls on their religion and their religion structures. This is definitely true, because we know that they used temples and other religious structures, because they believed in God, and their writing were just related to God. Further questions, scholars have discovered similarities between Zapotec and Maya writing. So further, when we find the paragraph about Maya, we go further and we see here they were saying let's highlight this word Zapotec and the Maya writing. So here they highlight Zapotec. They were saying about Zapotec culture, right? And they were not comparing at all. They were just saying that they just come up with their writing even earlier possibilities, but they're not saying about the similarities between or the difference. Let's say not given. Can't say that this information is given in the text. Literacy was common in most ancient civilizations. Since here it's about ancient civilizations, like both of them, Maya and Zapotec, in the matter of literacy, we go further. So you compare here in the paragraph. Let's go further, and we have a text which says, in the ancient times, the civilized people, just as scholars, priests, or governmental officials, used writing. So they used writing, not all of them. It was not common. Only scholars, priests, and the government officials used. So this is just gonna be false. Let's put it this way. So we just ended up, it's not that complicated. Just pay attention and please be very careful and trust to yourself. Bye.